Noel Noa is one of the most interesting characters in all of Blue Lock. A character who had a way bigger purpose than what he first led us to believe. Starting from his own motivations as a player, all the way to his relationship with other players such as Isagi or Kaiser, Noa has been one of the most enjoyable characters for me. In this video, we'll be discussing what makes his character so interesting. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, but only if you enjoy. And with that being said, let's get into it. Noel Noa is the best striker in the world, a character who was originally seen and described as a soulless cyborg. Whether it was from a reader's perspective or from another character's perspective, all we knew about him is that he was the best, barely showing any form of personality, emotions, or interest in anything other than football. And his philosophy as a master had even less personality than that. Only stats and results matter. This painted him as a character who was simply boring, one who not only has no purpose but also does not have the ability to understand his players. At least until the recent reveal during the PXG game, Noah was actually a lot different from what we thought. First, we get a closer look into his psychology. Noah does not care about being the number one or the best in the world. He simply enjoys the sports. He simply enjoys being a striker. And following that path of the striker led him to where he is currently, the best in the world. But this still has no meaning to him. In his mind, he is still following that path and has to go even further. The path of the striker doesn't stop when you become the best. This is already a key difference between him and other strikers. For example, most of the young players such as Kaiser or Isagi, their goal is always to become the world's best striker. And this all means that they have an end goal and there is a point that they are trying to reach. Another player like Lavinho simply believes that he's the best in the world, which would sort of mean that he's already reached a level that he's satisfied with. Noah, on the other hand, would never be satisfied. He's following a path of eternal growth. This path never ends, all he does is grow better and better. But he's currently reached what he himself would call a ceiling for himself. And finding himself with no other way of improving, he has to find that optimal challenge. A player who can push him to get even better. A player that he found in Kaiser. But Kaiser had a problem and Noah noticed it. Which is why I say that the assumption that he doesn't understand his players is simply false. Noah believed in Kaiser from seeing the talent that he had. But Kaiser's mindset was always holding him back and he was never going to surpass Noah at this rate. Very early on, Blue Lock introduces us to a very important concept. The best way to improve is to consistently chase and face challenges. A character like Isagi never hesitated to go after the strongest in the room. Kaiser on the other end was the opposite of that. Kaiser saw Noah as an obstacle that he could never get past, and so he planned of getting a higher value in a different club just so he could escape Noah and grow in a different place. Playing in a team that's already established around Noel Noa would only leave him in Noah's shadow. A challenge that he refused to face, which obviously prevented him from growing. Obviously, this is terrible for Noah's plan. No matter the amount of talent Kaiser has, it will never surpass him or even be a challenge for him as long as he refuses to change that mindset. Isagi was then the perfect opportunity for that. Isagi is the perfect example of a player who joined an already established team and managed to still make a name for himself, and you could say took the team from the main character. Upon being crushed, Kaiser had to rebuild himself into a different person, which turned him into the player he currently is. A strong player with a better mindset and the motivation to grow even better. One with the ability to become the best in the world. But it's in this moment that we learned that Noah was using Isagi. Everything he told him, everything he did to help him improve wasn't really for him, but simply to use him as a way to awaken Kaiser, which is obviously messed up and led a lot of people to dislike Noah. In my opinion, it makes him a way better character. Not only makes a lot of sense, but it stays consistent with some of the things we were shown before. He also adds another layer to Noah, basically destroying everything that made him a bad character, having no real purpose, not being able to understand his players, or just being a very one-dimensional character. He is good, preaches discipline and rationality. That's all there was to him. This is where you learn that Noah actually thinks a lot and knows that there is a lot more than just rationality. He actually planned ahead and it ended up going exactly as he wanted to. He basically forced the chemical reaction between Isagi and Kaiser and forced both of them to become way better players as a result. So much for being a bad coach who doesn't have any sort of understanding of his players. He might not be the best at creating strategies, but he is more than capable of transforming the right players into even better players. At first, Noa was introduced as a character who only cares about rationality. All that mattered was individual talent and the ability to create numbers, but he sometimes said some questionable things and made some questionable decisions. For example, subbing Isagi in the game because it was quote-unquote what the world wanted to see. While this might be true, I don't believe Noa would care unless it would serve him a purpose. It was simply the perfect opportunity to have Isagi enter the picture. Having him play over Yukimiya was simply irrational. There's also the first thing we see about him at the very beginning of the series. Noa said that he would rather score a hat-trick and lose 3-4 over assisting a teammate and win 1-0. This obviously isn't a rational thing to do. That is what his drive as a striker tells him to do. That is his own selfish feelings. While obviously these weren't enough to paint a full picture, it is always cool to go back to those moments and realize that Noa didn't always show that rationality that he was talking about. There was also the fact that he would overlook a lot of irrational plays from Isagi or Kaiser because he knew that they were on the right path to both improving. I say this because I also severely doubt that Noa is simply putting Isagi down. Most people think that Noa is doubting Isagi and that he doesn't think he will become anything great, but this would directly contradict anything Noa has been saying until now. Noa simply didn't see any threat in Isagi at that moment, which is why he even reminded him of his first message: if you wanna be the best in the world, think of a theory that can surpass me. The problem is that Isagi wasn't thinking about this anymore, which obviously took him further away from Noa, which is why he was disappointed. In this race, there is no time for the weak. You fall back and you get left behind. The truth is that Noa noticed that Isagi wasn't up to it anymore, which is why he left him behind. All Isagi has to do was climb back up, and Noa even told him that he would be looking forward to playing against him later on. That wouldn't be something he says to a player that he doesn't believe in. Noa always said, I will side with the player who's more rational, siding with Isagi when Kaiser didn't have the right mindset, and siding with Kaiser when Isagi didn't have the right mindset. It is all part of his plan to have both of them improve. He didn't just betray Isagi and leave him behind. The only thing you can call a betrayal is that it wasn't actually genuine, and since the beginning he was just using them. But Noa has in no way switched up on Isagi. Thinking logically, why would Isagi be able to awaken Kaiser and not have any sort of potential of his own? Obviously Noa knows that. Really looking forward to when Isagi and Kaiser both reach that level, probably during the actual World Cup. Lastly, I just want to talk about Noa as a player. Out of all the masters, he's often said to be the most boring one, because Lavinho, Snuffy, and Loki both have something very special to their playstyle, something that you can only expect from them when they play. But weirdly enough, Noa is my favorite player to see. When he's on screen, he's always somehow showing why he is superior. Without doing anything flashy or extra, his positioning is great, the hand placements and the way he always prevents people from getting close, something that we saw from Karasu very early on, but just on a way higher level. Simply has great movement and never fails to demonstrate why he is called the best striker in the world. Let me know in the comments how you feel about Noa in general, whether it's as a character, as a player, or even as a master. If you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like on this video and subscribe to my channel if you wanna see more in the future. I appreciate y'all for making it to this point, and I will see y'all next time. Peace.